We're still working on getting it hooked up. Okay. But we should be there online and commencing. Okay. Alright?
Like boxing.
Ladies and gentlemen. Alright. First off, I want to give you a quick definition. Today we're talking about the banning of blood sports. And the first word that comes to my mind when I think of that is the word violence. Violence simply means this. It's the exertion of physical force so as to injure or abuse. You may hear our opponents talk about the fact that more sports other than mixed martial arts or boxing cause injuries than these sports. But the simple matter of the fact is that these sports, and I use the term loosely, condone violence and how it's okay. Feeding the inner need or the desire for violence is often an argument used. But simply because we, as human beings, have a violent tendency, does not mean that we have to feed it. Many of you may be shaking your heads and disagree with me, but would you allow your siblings, your cousins, or the younger members of your family to act in this violent manner? You may think that sports like this make you more of a man. But if you need violence to show you are a man, then you are no better than the domestic violence abuser who hits his girlfriend or his wife to make himself feel like a man.
Rattled.
The idea of blood sports will say that it isn't that violent. In fact, we hear about other sports that cause more injury and cause more problems to people. The fact of the matter is that oftentimes the only thing that we see is the outer injury that's caused to the person. All right, that's the only thing we see. People hit in the face, we see the cut, we see the bruise, but we don't know about the internal injury that's going on. That's what we're trying to look at here, and the reason why the government wants to stop this is because there's no way for us to know truly what the damage being caused is.
What is going on? Or.
A minute 30 for the time.
We were questioning you. Yeah. So you compared Mr. Nunez. You compared boxers and UFC fighters to spousal abusers. So would you say that people who there are some American heroes who are boxers? Do you say these people are on the same level, like Muhammad Ali or Manny Pacquiao, who's going to run for the presidency of this country? Would you say that he is on the same level as spousal abusers?
Let me restate, because I think what you're doing is you're using my words to twist them to fit your side. No. What I said was that what these people are condoning, is violence. That's the one that I'm saying. Not that the person is the abuser, but the violence that they're condoning equates to someone who's a domestic violence.
I would say that violence between two consenting adults who have entered into this, who have been trained their entire lives for this, who are medically examined before it, be safe. They're people of roughly the same size. They both know what they're getting into. They're wearing padding on their hands. They say that's the same as punching your wife.
What I'm saying is that let me back up and let me use your own words. Just because someone is a consenting adult, and this goes with sex also, does it not? Doesn't make it right. You know, just because they consent to do it doesn't make the action that they're doing correct. All right? The violence that, again, the key issue here is the violence they're condoning and the medical issues that happens to the man that's being hit. Yes, in MMA, in the UFC, they have.
Time's over. Okay, now we have questions and subsequent speeches.
Anyone have a question for Mr. Dubé? Dubé or Deontay's side? Question? Maybe a speech, yes?
Is Guam an actual American state?
No.
Alright.
It has to go with something correlated to the game. Any questions?
I have a question. So, ban blood sports. Don't you think we should ban all physical contact sports like football, hockey, sports where there's
Who the hell said that?
Yeah, basically on that respect, no. Basically, I think that's fair game. You can have I think that's why is that? Because I think football and basketball, I mean, obviously those are sports, so I'm not going to argue against that. Only wrestling is our main topic.
Do you know how many guys have died in blood sports in the past 5 years?
No.
I do. I'll elaborate just a little bit. Within the past years of blood sports, before it was sanctioned by the government, and then after it was sanctioned, there have been 2 deaths. Yes, there's only been 2.
How many years?
Within boxing, there's been over 5,000. Now, excuse me, sorry, 2,000. With the MMA though, with the UFC.
Time's up. Now we'll have 3 minutes for the con opening. 3 minutes now.
Okay, so when we're saying blood sports, what we're arguing for, we think that street fighting is wrong. Just unorganized fighting, not good. You shouldn't be able to do that. We're talking about sanctioned events with adult professional practitioners, medical staff on hand, that has some governing board. So we're not talking about street fights, bare knuckle boxing, things that Marines fight a lot. That's not really what we're talking about. We're talking like UFC, Las Vegas prize fighting, professional boxing.
Right, because the term blood sport already is a misnomer that means this is something that is meant to draw blood, it's meant to injure, but what we're advocating for is professional sporting, not a brawl or just a fight of any kind. Okay?
The sports we're talking about are the most pure of athletic competition. The first Olympics, the first sporting events that we know of, they had 3 events: 100-meter dash, wrestling, and boxing. That's what they did. These are the original athletic competitions. So I don't know how you can say that the most pure human endeavors of athleticism is banning them.
It would be the same as banning running, because this is part of what humans do, part of our function, the most pure of sport, those 3 essential sports.
Secondly, these sports are of huge cultural importance. They're touchstones of our society. Touchstones, I misspoke, I'm sorry. Okay, yeah. So they're touchstones of our society. Many of our American cultural heroes were fighters. Muhammad Ali is a cultural icon in America. Going through the Great Depression, boxing was what gave people hope. The first African American who was culturally significant to the white populace was a prize fighter. He was the heavyweight champion of the world. He was the most famous man in the world at the time when most African American people didn't have equal rights. He managed to be the most famous man in America.
Also, we can look at the cultural aspects, the discipline aspect of martial arts in general. If you look at the Shaolin monks, for instance, they're known as warriors, but they're known for their discipline in their martial art. When you examine the life of a Shaolin monk, they're not rampaging, drawing blood, brutalizing people, abusing others. They're fighting in a very disciplined form.